2, 3, 4.
Welcome to Confessions with the Cougar and the Cub. This is your host, Justin Vandeventer.
And I am the better half of this podcast, Carrie, the Cougar Lazzarino.
This podcast, we are going to give you the male and female perspective on everyday issues and relationship problems.
And I'll give you the right answer from real ladies, just like myself, a true badass.
And I'll try to translate to you cavemen out there that don't quite understand women yet.
So let's dive in.
And enjoy this episode with the Cougar and the Cub. Welcome back to Confessions of the Cougar and the Cub. This is your Cub, Justin Vandeventer. What's up, guys? And with me is the better half of this podcast. You know, the Cougar.
He ain't lying. It's Carrie. How you doing?
Feels good to be back, doesn't it?
Feels great to be back. I love this.
Right?
Having so much fun, babe.
This is going to be a fun episode.
It's going to be so good.
So we got something new coming at you guys. It's not just us this time. We had an interview with a very interesting couple.
Yes, we did. Rusty and Candy are OnlyFans. And I don't know, do we say they're OnlyFans?
They live in the lifestyle is what they say.
I guess, yes. They live in the lifestyle, and they have, in the last couple of years, joined in the OnlyFans where they create content. And yeah, so that's going to be kind of cool. I'm excited to chat with them and hear a little bit about it. We had lots of questions come in through emails and on Facebook. So thank you, everyone, for sending us those. And yeah, so we're going to dive in with them.
Yeah, you're going to find this very interesting with the questions we ask and get to know them and the lifestyle. So without any further ado, should we get into this?
Absolutely. Let's start.
With that being said, here's Candy and Rusty. All right, I think we should get started here. We have Candy and Rusty here with us.
Yes. Hello. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on the show with us today. We're kind of excited to get to hear a little bit about you and get to know you. So anyway, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about yourself? I love your names, by the way, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
We should tell you how we got the names.
You absolutely should.
Yes.
So those are our porn names. So I don't know if you've ever heard this, that your first name is the first pet you had, and your second last name is the street you grew up on.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So
my.
Candy, her first dog was Candy, and she grew up on Abbott. And my first pet was Rusty, and I grew up on Vera Cruz. So I'm Rusty Vera Cruz.
Wow.
And I'm Candy Abbott.
I love that. That is so cool. Very cool.
That is cool.
Now go on.
However, we're very simple people. We lead a simple life. We have family. We have grandchildren. We have kids. We just enjoy life, enjoy traveling, and being with other people.
And we've been together 49 years. And so it's married for 44 of those. And I think we're having more fun now than we've ever had.
Nice.
Wow. I was going to say, what is the secret sauce? But I mean, I kind of think I don't know, maybe this is it. I don't know. What is your secret sauce? If you had to say, like, what makes you guys tick?
Just knowing I'm going to wake up to my husband the next day, each morning.
Well, I don't know if I can top that, but it's, I've just been, our story goes back quite a ways, even before we were going out. So, I worked at a theater.
Yep.
Well, I worked at this movie theater, and she'd come in there all the time. Mm-hmm. And she was dating somebody who was at the other high school. And, so I was kind of obsessed with her for years before I had a chance to go out with her. And I asked her friend if I could go out with her, and she said, "Oh, she'd never go out with you." And because she works someplace that she was too good for me. And so one day her friend tells me, she doesn't have a date on Saturday night. I think she might go out with you. Here we are.
The rest is history.
the rest is history.
I love it. That is awesome. Well, I have another question for you guys. So just so I know, is it okay to say swingers or lifestyle? What should somebody say? Just so we don't want to offend and that type of thing.
Well, I think swingers is the old term. Everybody likes to refer to it now as the lifestyle, but we're not offended by either because we're old. So we were swingers when we started and we're in the lifestyle now.
Perfect. All right. Well, that is good to know. Thanks for that.
Okay.
All right.
So what made you want to try this lifestyle? When did you get into it? How did you get into it?
Well, that's kind of a funny story. Years ago, before the internet, my husband was traveling, and he brought home this magazine that he picked up along the way. And it had all these people with little pictures and a little bio about them looking for sex with other people. And he brought this home to show me. And I thought, people really do this? They advertise? I just never heard of it. I mean,
wow.
And we talked about it for a while. And we even a few times set dates to meet other people, but we chickened out at first. We just couldn't follow through with it. It took us a few years before we actually, met up with somebody.
Yeah, I'll add to that is in that same little magazine, there was an ad for a swingers club that met at a hotel. And we decided to go to the swingers party on a Saturday night. And but earlier in the week, we went to a school board meeting because they were changing the boundaries for a new junior high. And there was a guy who got up there and spoke, just did a great job of defending the people who didn't want the boundaries changed. And when we got to the party Saturday night, that same guy was out dancing in his underwear.
Wait, dancing in his underwear at the swingers party?
At the swingers club.
Oh my gosh!
Wow!
So they're all around. They're all around us.
They are, and
love it.
over the years, we ran into all kinds of people that we knew in other activities with our kids, and and business, and they really are every place. In several of the businesses I have, people that I do a lot of business with turned out they belonged to that same swingers club. I never knew them, but they were in it. They were active. Some of them are much older than me. Some are younger, but it's crazy. And we've gone to a resort in Jamaica called Hedonism 2 and run into people from our hometown there. And
wow.
We used to play this game when we get on the airplane and say, who on the plane here is going to Hedonism 2? And we very seldom would get it right. It was, we'd see a couple, oh no, they must be going to that real fancy place over there. And then we'd see them naked on the beach the next morning. So.
So I got a question. What percentage do you think are in the lifestyle then? And then is there a symbol that you guys have? Like the rumor is the upside down pineapple or a purple door or
We've heard all those things. I think we don't use any symbols.
Okay.
But people do. People use the pineapple.
Okay.
They'll wear the shirts. I think the main one is wearing black wedding rings on their opposite hands.
Wait, hang on though.
Wearing it on your right hand instead of your left hand.
I actually have an aura ring on my right hand, but it's on my middle finger. I think I'm okay. I don't know.
I don't know. Well,
No,
I think
I'm playing.
It's like when we moved into our house, the landscaping was all done, and one of the symbols is supposed to be white rocks around your house.
Oh.
And we've got white rocks around our house. And we thought, geez, we better change this or somebody will assume
wow.
swingers.
Oh, that's so funny. Wow. So again, Justin had asked, I don't know if you had heard this, but what do you think the percentage? Because if swingers or people in the lifestyle are really walking amongst us, like if you had to guess, just based on the times you've went to the parties or what have you, what do you think? Like
you go to the parties and the turnout is always much greater than you'd imagine. I mean, there was probably 500 people at those parties.
Right.
Wow.
And this was, 500 in a metropolitan area on a regular basis. And we've gone to swinger clubs in different cities, some popular ones in Florida specifically, and they're packed and there's lines out the door.
So
and
would you say it's mostly in the...
I think from a percentage of couples, it's probably 3 to 5% that are actually trying it.
Okay.
But I think the percentage that think about it is much higher. Maybe 15 or 20%.
And they just don't say anything, and they maybe just kind of
because
sit on it.
like I said, we're old. We talk to a lot of people that don't know that we do this.
Yeah.
And the number of couples we've had bring it up and talk about it, not like they wanted to do it, but you could tell they were interested, and they weren't suggesting we do it with them or anything. Just the way they were talking about it sounded like they were interested.
They're curious.
So here's a question I don't think I asked you guys, but on that, do you think that some couples, after maybe a certain amount of years, that old 7-year itch type of thing, do you think that they start thinking like, hey, maybe we need to spice it up? And then maybe that's when they start thinking about, let's go to these swinger parties or whatnot. Like maybe they just all of a sudden are like, yeah, let's try this.
Well, I think some couples do that. I mean, I think what we've found is there's 2 types of couples, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, Candy, but there's couples that love each other and love the idea of their spouse or partner being pleasured by someone else. And then there's the other couples that are having trouble with their marriage and think this is going to fix it. And they always end up divorced, and they're the ones always causing the problems in the lifestyle because they don't understand, how to be a successful lifestyler, because what they'll do is they'll go there looking for a new partner.
That makes sense.
And I think you just have to be open-minded, about the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay. After being in the lifestyle for so long, do you think you could ever go back to a traditional marriage then after being in the lifestyle?
Or maybe
Yes,
would
I
you
do
even
think
want to?
so. Yeah. I'm sure there'll become a time that we will go and there'll be no issue at all. I mean, this is, how do I say it? It's like a hobby activity that you could give up. And at any time, if one of us decide no more, I think we would both just say fine.
And I think over time, the way you look at the lifestyle and maybe the way you participate changes. I know we went into this thinking, we wanted to do the traditional swapping with another couple.
Okay.
And over the years, we found, and we've talked to many other people, find that what's really, really difficult is to find a 4-way connection. And so, the only trouble we've had in the lifestyle where things went south and people that, weren't happy and didn't get along, was with other couples. And, when we were in the 90s doing this, I think, I was a little over enthusiastic. I was I'd only gone out with Candy. We weren't wild in college, and, we didn't have any experience with anybody else. So, I was enthusiastic about, trying to hook up with other women. And, so we'd go to a swingers party, connect with another couple, and Candy will tell you this, on the way home every night, I'd say, we're never doing this again.
That's awesome.
And, it was because I never really enjoyed myself because, I was worried about her. I wanted to make sure she was enjoying herself. So I was thinking about her so much, I just didn't enjoy it.
So to first start out, you guys must have been really open with each other, vocally.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to tell everything. Before you even start out, you have to discuss every single possibility. What can go right? What can go wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be really hard. I feel like there's a lot of jealousy that can happen. So I'm interested to see if that's ever happened with you guys, if there's ever been jealousy on either one of your behalfs, or how do you make sure that doesn't happen?
Well, I think there's a lot of jealousy among, couples, and but I don't think we've really had the jealousy.
I think, there was a couple of times where in the 90s, again, when we weren't experienced and weren't quite sure, I think, what we were doing and didn't maybe understand what other people were doing. We had this one couple that were having marital problems. We didn't know that at the time. And, she'd email me and, say, hey, we should get together. And I'd say, yeah, let me talk to Candy and let's figure it out. And and she said, no, I just want to get together with you.
Oh,
and not tell them. And I had no interest in that.
Right.
But I remember being online and she messaged me just as Candy walked into my office. And, that was the only time that I think that Candy got upset with me, because she thought that I was doing something behind her back. And that to us is the cardinal sin. I mean, we tell each other everything. And, it took me a while for her to convince her that, no, I have no interest in this woman.
Yeah.
She was,
And again, it wasn't jealousy. It was there trust? What are you doing that I don't know? I had no problem with him being with that woman. And if he did want to go off one-on-one with her, just those two, that would have been fine. But I didn't like
the dishonesty,
or just not
knowing,
being upfront and open with me, saying, hey, this woman wants me to meet with her.
But I didn't have a chance to, because she was doing it live as she walked in.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. So really just keeping it on the up and up and making sure everybody is on the same page is sounds like where you guys are really at with that.
And I think the other thing that happened that really convinced Candy, I always trusted her, but I think she still thought I was out, she
gallivanting.
thought I was trying to replace her maybe at some point. Maybe not. I don't know. But when we got into the hot wifing thing, she was concerned that, well, I'll let you talk. You were concerned that I'd be upset after.
Oh. I don't know if I was really concerned about it, but I wasn't concerned about you being upset with me being with people. I was concerned that you would feel left out because I was having all the fun.
And I didn't at all. And that's where, how I said things change is I think what happened with that, with her getting into the hot wife lifestyle, which is her meeting other men, but me not, is, and I just hear about it or watch, that's where we found, I'll say, our sweet spot in the lifestyle, because that's what really works for us. And I think, after about 2 years of doing that, she said to me, geez, I'm having so much fun. You should go out and do the same. You should go find some women, and do the same. And so I tried it once or twice, and I didn't enjoy it. So I gave up on that.
So you mentioned the hot wifing. Is that like another form of like swinging, or is that we have other questions too about the lifestyle or the OnlyFans? So I'm thinking that it's leaning towards that. Is that just something?
It's a lifestyle thing.
Okay,
that's lifestyle. That's more lifestyle.
Okay,
it's where the woman goes out and have dates with other men, connects with them, and then our thing is I get to come home and tell Rusty all about it and how much fun I had.
Now, are there pictures involved? I guess I've never heard of this. Hot Wives. I'm kind of writing it down. It just kind of interests me. I'm not going out as my honey's looking at me. I'm not writing it down for myself. Would that be something like, would you video it, or is it more so just like you go home and you kind of just describe and then, that type of thing?
Yeah, there's different ways. There's different ways. There are women that will take video or pictures. I don't always. I get so into it. Rusty always says, get video. Totally forget.
Get a picture.
Get a picture. I have sent pictures, but I forget. But then there are people that will go and hook up with somebody, and they'll call, and the husband listens to them enjoying themselves on the phone. And that can be very hot.
Does the other partner ever go and just watch?
That happens too. A lot of times the husband will just sit in the corner and watch. That can happen.
With that, I'm curious, the Hot Wives, is this like, okay, so is there like a website somebody goes on there and then how do you get to hook up?
It's the same way. It's a swingers lifestyle.
Okay, so it's okay. So then, gotcha.
But you would put, it's just the way you list things.
Okay.
That's like her name on OnlyFans is Hot Wife Candy because she's a hot wife. And, if she's on a swingers site, she lists that she's a hot wife.
Okay.
And that she's a married woman that plays alone.
Okay. Okay.
And a lot of couples will look for a woman to join them. They don't want another couple.
Yeah. So there's couples that look for someone like Candy too to join them for a threesome.
Okay. Question is, what made you guys decide to do OnlyFans? Like what transition from, say, just lifestyle swinger into the OnlyFans?
Well, truthfully, we talked about this for a long time. I was not fully into it because I thought at my age, at the time I was in my late 50s, and I thought, who's going to want to look at somebody this age? Because you go on these sites and you see all these gorgeous 23-year-old women.
Let me interrupt, Candy. You're hot. I've seen you. You're amazing. Okay. So, so whatever, but go on.
But my thing was, when you could look at these younger girls, why would you want to look at somebody my age? Okay. And so, truthfully, I put them off, and I came down with COVID. Okay. And this was when it first was out, and I wasn't feeling good. He came up and he said, maybe you should really give this some thought. And I just wanted him to leave me alone, and I didn't think anybody would look at me. So I just said, sure, do it. We've taken pictures, We've always taken pictures. He loves to photograph.
I used to have a dark room in the 70s.
Wow.
So I took pictures in the 70s.
So we had lots of pictures. I figured nobody would look at me. There wasn't, when we first started this, a lot of women my age doing this. And I thought there was a reason for that. Well, the first month we did this, I didn't expect anybody to look at me. And the response was very good. I was shocked.
What did people say?
Well, I really get lots of compliments. I've only had a few in the 4 years I've been doing negative. People, I get a lot of people saying, at first it was because there wasn't a lot of women my age. They would say, great for doing this, putting yourself out there. I love your confidence and I love your pictures. Now there's a lot more women my age out there. So, but still,
you paved the way.
I wasn't one of the first ones, but I joined in, and when I did this, I thought, okay, I'll do it for 6 months and then stop. Well, it's been almost 4 years now.
Yeah, and it keeps getting better. And what's interesting to me is we know a lot of other content creators now, and other people that are doing this, and so many of them complain about all their fans because they say they're rude, they say terrible things to them.
Wow.
And, Candy's got a lot more followers than most of them and a lot more fans. And she literally has, she said a few. I think she's only got 1 or 2 in 4 years.
Negative.
And they weren't that bad.
What would you say that somebody would say? Because there's always those Karens that sit behind, the keyboard warriors or whatever they call them. But what would somebody say? I mean, I think she's...
Internet tough guys.
At first, we did have some people say, "Why are you doing this? You shouldn't be doing this."
Okay.
No. I don't know what our response was. This was when we first got started. I can't remember.
When we first started, we had one response we took as negative at the time. Mm-hmm. And the more we thought about it over the years, we think it was positive. Because he said, "You look like a porn star from the 70s.
Well, thank you.
At the time, we thought that was negative.
Wow.
But now we look back and we go, hey, he was probably
sparked something.
Nice.
Nice.
Wow. So how many followers would you say you have?
Yeah,
Sorry.
So my question would be, how lucrative
Yeah.
is it being on OnlyFans? And what kind of equipment and content do you need and all that?
I think it depends how much you put into it. Okay? Some people just put up photos and they don't, put new photos up every day or whatever. They might just put them up once, a couple times a month. You're not going to get any business. You have to be very active in it. And I'll let Rusty tell you.
Well, the first years, it was good. The second year was better. And now she's making more money on an annual basis than she ever made in any full-time job she had.
Wow. You're kidding. That's amazing.
No. And it keeps, like I said, it keeps getting better, keep getting a lot more opportunities. She was invited to be part of the Hot Gilf Tour, which is really going to open up a lot of new opportunities. They're doing a national tour where they're going to the Exotica shows, the AVN, which is the Adult Video News show in Las Vegas.
Wow.
And there's what's that biz show?
Oh, XBiz?
XBiz. There's a, adult biz show in Los Angeles in January they're going to. And then they're doing what are called shoot houses. So the 11 women that are part of the Gilf Tour 4 times a year are going to different locations around the country for a weekend and shooting content, video all weekend. And they're bringing in, male content creators to do the videos with them.
Wow. So you should blow up big time.
Yeah. And she's been contacted by several major studios to do paid shoots with them. Wow. And hasn't done that yet, but got one here recently that she's considering. And I guess my advice to anybody that would get into this business is it's easy to fall into the paid content shoot thing with the studio, but you want to do that on a limited basis and you look at it as paid you're getting paid to promote your brand or your name, because the whole idea of OnlyFans and the other platforms is you own the content, you decide, who sees it, when they see it, and when it comes down. You control your content when you're on those platforms. When you shoot with a studio, they pay you once, and it might be good what they pay you, but they own that content, and they can put it any place they want.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of the porn stars said, like some of these younger girls, they go, I only did porn for 3 months out of my life, but they've shot so much and clipped it up so much that it looks like I made a whole career out of it. Right. And that makes sense what you're saying.
Yeah. And the whole idea of this OnlyFans and ManyVids, and, one of the things I'm most excited about the Candy's on, because I grew up with it, is Playboy. Not everybody is accepted on Playboy. OnlyFans, anybody can sign up for OnlyFans, where Playboy, they reached out to her very early on when she was on OnlyFans and asked her to join their platform when they were just getting started. So she's on Playboy.com.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Candy. I love it.
That was one of, I'll say it's my dream, but she always wanted to do it too. She, back in the 70s, we talked about that. Wouldn't that be great to be in Playboy? And it was kind of a fantasy for both of us. So when it finally came true, it's pretty cool. And now the way they do it, that's the bulk of their business. They started it as Playboy's Centerfold. It was called centerfold.com. Now it's been so successful, they just call it playboy.com. And when you go there, it's the Playmates that are on there.
So with how big you're getting, how do you guys keep your lifestyle private?
Yeah. From family
and friends and all that.
Well, it's
got to be hard.
We've been doing it 4 years, and if people know about it, they haven't told us. And one way to look at it is if they know about it, it's like, well, what are you doing on that site in the first place?
And it's a good point. It's a good point. Okay.
And secondly is, people, friends and relatives that know Candy would never believe that this would be something she'd do. She's just known as, just a sweet grandma and mom, and nobody would believe it.
Wow.
And so the other thing is, because we don't use our real names, it would be hard to find. You'd have to, if somebody found it, they'd come across it accidentally. And, so I don't know. I mean, at this point, and I'll let Candy talk about this a little bit too, but
Sure.
At this point, my view on it is we're in our mid 60s. We've been good. We were great parents. We spent way too much time, and I don't mean this in a negative way.
No.
But we did everything for our kids. We were.
What I'm hearing though is you've done your part as a parent, and now it's your time to have fun and enjoy
Right.
life.
And
And for everybody else, we can say fuck too, and we can say fuck the rest and fuck them. So you know what? It's okay. And if they find out, they find out. But you know what? Then why were they on those anyway, right? So
We don't think we're doing anything wrong.
you're not. Well, yeah.
We enjoy what
In my
we're
opinion.
doing.
Yeah.
We enjoy what we're doing. And listen, we've been together 49 years and married 44. How many couples can say that and be as happy as we are? And, maybe we know something they don't. Maybe this is, what's kept our marriage hot and fun and so committed over these years.
Yeah. Anything you'd like to add to that, Candy, before I have another kind of...
Yeah, well, I should say, actually, two people do know that I do this, but they're in the lifestyle. They found me because they know the sites. I never told them. They just said, I saw you on whatever. And, I just said, yes, and I left it at that. I don't really...
Were they people that, say, you maybe worked with or saw out and about at the grocery store? Or how would you say that you knew these people?
Oh, they were in the lifestyle.
They were just in the...
Yeah,
I didn't know if you
just lifestyle.
Okay,
so they probably knew some of these sites, and that's how they found us.
Okay.
Or found me, I should say.
Yeah.
But, it was a short conversation, and no judgment on their part or whatever. They just wanted to let me know, hey, I know you.
Yeah.
I know you're so-and-so. And I said, oh, yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Yeah. Question, is there anything that you or your partner wouldn't do if a fan requests something of you?
You get a lot of requests for, videos, custom videos. And the weirdest one that somebody once asked me, well, there's a couple things. A lot of people have fetishes, okay? And they wanted me to do, and excuse the language, they wanted me to fart.
I love it.
Yes, make a video of me doing that. And no, that was a quick.
So that was the weirdest. And was it during like a sex act, or just like you're standing up and they're just freaking break wind? I mean.
Yeah, they wanted you to just break wind. And if you could do it during sex act, well.
Okay.
No, I said something doesn't, I'd have to time it. You just couldn't do it.
Taco Bell, here I come.
I'm really surprised. I do get requests people
Sorry
like,
about the armpit.
yeah. And then also somebody wanted me to sniff my armpits and lip.
Kiss and lick your
Oh,
armpits.
yeah, kiss and lick my armpits.
Oh.
We did that one.
Yeah, actually we did. That wasn't as weird, but I've only done it once. But there are people, that have foot fetishes. There are people that I didn't even know a thing. This was something, but somebody wanted me to wear my watch backwards,
Wow.
With the face under your wrist.
Yeah, and
Wait.
I didn't know that was a fetish. And there's a lot of people that like that.
They-
So a lot of my photos are taken with
Okay.
a watch worn backwards.
Because that's
I get
one of her
tips.
best fans.
Yes.
He's been a fan for years.
Yes. And
Wow.
he tips me.
He tips her
me.
and sends her watches.
Yeah. So
Wow.
Do you think that is it a fetish, or do you think it's just
yes,
It
they
makes
get
a-
off on that.
on the watch being backwards, or do you think it's a
Like, that's for me.
that was for you think that's a feeling of that's for me?
No, it isn't because I looked it up. I looked it up online.
It is
Because
all
I
right.
wanted
So,
to say,
a
what
watch.
is this? I never heard of this.
Yeah, I've
But
never
he
heard of
does-
that either. That's why I
Yeah.
got the feeling of maybe that's he gets off on it because that he's getting you to do that for him.
He does get off on that
Yeah.
because he'll say, "Oh my God, I saw that picture that you posted today with that watch, and I jacked off to it." You know?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what's the hottest thing that you've been asked to do then? And that's for either of you, but I'm kind of curious. So the weirdest, farting. Yeah, but what's the hottest?
Oh, geez.
I know that's on the cut. Like, gosh, how do you?
Jack.
Oh. This was kind of neat. Somebody wanted me to play with myself wearing, I think, boots. Was I wearing boots and a denim jacket only?
Oh wow.
And that was kind of sexy. It was something that I've
Yeah.
never done before.
But then the same guy bought the custom video of us together.
Oh,
you
yes.
wearing
Okay,
that.
that's right.
Oh.
Then he liked that so much, he came back and says, "Hey, can you do it with your partner, your husband, and, wear the same thing?" So, yeah.
And ride him cowboy
Yes.
with the
Yeah.
denim jacket.
Yes.
Nice.
I mean, it was just something
And the video
fun.
turned out, after the way these customs work
Mm-hmm.
is they have to pay extra if it's just for them. Otherwise, what she does is she'll shoot the custom video and give them like a 60-day exclusive before she posts it on the site. And so he paid, considerable amount of money for it. But then when we posted it on our different platforms, it's become one of the most popular videos she's got.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. Yeah, definitely. I like that. How many would you say, in your opinion, for either of you, would be too many, like partners, like in a day? If you had to, when you're shooting content, what is too many? I mean,
in a day.
Shooting content.
Yeah, shooting content. Well, how about scenes? Because you could have multiple partners in a scene.
Yeah.
Or what a shoot. I would say no more than 2 or 3 for me.
Okay.
But I know people have done up to 6.
okay.
But they're a lot of work.
Yeah.
And maybe people even do more. It just depends. But if you want to do quality, you're not going to rush through them.
Right. Yeah. So it could take hours, I imagine, too. I mean,
It can take time, but you do need time in between too. You need downtime.
yeah. Okay. Would you agree with that, Rusty?
Yeah,
As far as-
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like she said, a lot of these content creators, they'll shoot 6 videos in a day, which means they're with 6 different partners, whether it's another female or male or multiple males. And I get a little concerned about that because
Right.
even though nobody, at least the people that we're involved with, everybody's fully tested, and they have to have a test that's, which they, on these, STD tests,
Okay.
they have 7-day, 14-day, and 30-day clearance. And we only do people that are within the 7-day window.
Okay.
But even that, I get concerned about because if they're at one of these big events, I always told Candy, if we go to these events, you're going to shoot early and be
Oh,
done.
yeah.
You're not going to shoot after they've been making the rounds for 3 days.
Right.
And And the other thing with those is, there's multiple tests on there. It's not just the standard tests. There's actually a company called Talent Testing Service that has tests that even the FDA doesn't have for some, out there
Right.
STDs that people don't even know about. And so we go with the full gold panel, what they call swabs and MGen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like testing for every possible thing you can. And so
Yeah, that was one
it's
of our
not
questions.
just
too.
wildly, it's
Yeah.
not just wildly just doing anybody.
You got to make sure. I mean, you just don't know. I mean, while there is medicine that we can take, if there was something that happened, you gotta keep it safe. And maybe for some of the younger gals that might be, still like ovulating, that type of thing, pregnancy, you got to make sure. Don't be stupid about it.
And what's neat about this talent testing service is you get a QR code when you test. And so they can't be faked.
Oh.
The QR code takes you to their website and shows you, the people you're going to shoot with, your actual status.
Oh, wow.
And you can scan their QR code and see a real test.
That was going to answer.
Because what used to happen is people would fake the tests and bring them to a shoot on paper.
I was going to say, that's what I was going to ask, was when you guys go to these events, did you have to bring like a medical record with you, or how did you guys, briefcase full of tests and all?
You just bring your iPhone.
Yep, and then it's all right there.
Yeah, it's right there. They just
Smart.
pull up your
That
code.
is smart.
You put it in your Apple Wallet, and pull it up, and they scan
Along
your
with
code
my
and
Starbucks app.
you're good to go.
I love it. That's so funny.
All right. Now we're gonna kind of get into a couple of more difficult questions here.
Yeah.
How would you feel if others did find out and they judged you, and if they knew you were in the lifestyle? How would that make you feel?
And maybe how do you think that they would even judge you? I mean,
Yeah.
what would they say, even like if they found out?
Well, we haven't had that happen, but I've heard other people, and I've heard anything where they just stop associating with you
Ugh.
all the way, because of that.
Right.
Or they just don't talk. They know that you do it, but they just don't talk about
It's
it.
the elephant in the room, right?
Yeah, it's like the two. I know both ways.
Yeah.
I talked to people who've done it where they said, "Yep, my sister knows, my family knows." They just don't say anything.
Right.
But the irony of the whole thing is that a couple could be known to be cheating on each other, and their family and friends don't make as big a deal about that as they
Right.
would about the lifestyle.
Yeah. I wonder what it is. Like what makes it like so different? Like if a person is cheating versus the lifestyle, at least the lifestyle, everybody is on the same page. You agree. And that.
And by talking to you earlier, it sounds like the ones that make it in the lifestyle are the ones that build it straight off of trust and honesty and openness and communication.
Yep.
Those are the ones that make it in the lifestyle.
Ones that we know that have been in the lifestyle for a long time and are happy, they are the most in love couples you'll ever find.
Mm-hmm.
They love each other. They love their partner. They get excited about watching their partner with others. Truly. I mean, they're sincere about it. They, makes them happy, and they're,
Well, the times that Rusty and I have talked, he just is like a smitten kitten when he's talking about you, Candy. So whatever y'all are doing, I think it's working for you. Question though, knowing what you guys know now, knowing what you know now, would you guys do things differently as far as the lifestyle? Like maybe either A, start sooner, or B, just forego it altogether. Would you guys change anything? Excuse me.
I don't think I would have started sooner.
Okay.
I think because we did start in our early 40s and did it for a little bit, then we had to take a break because life got so busy.
Yep.
And then we started it in our late 50s, and I enjoyed it a lot more in the late 50s, because, life has slowed down and I could really enjoy it. But I would never push this lifestyle on anybody. I think it's a great thing, but it's not for everybody. And I don't know
What do you mean?
And-
What do you mean you wouldn't push it and kind of?
Well, I would never go to my friends that aren't lifestylers and say, "Hey,
Okay.
this
This
is what
is-
we're doing.
Yeah.
You guys need to do this." I have never did that to anybody.
Never
Right.
pushed it on to anybody.
Yeah, it's it really takes a special relationship to get into it, and we've seen so many people that are in it. We've seen people that are at these swinger events with, a friend's wife that's interested in it. They'll bring their wife isn't interested, so they bring somebody else. And their wife doesn't know that they brought somebody else to a swingers party.
And that's where the problems start.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And so but like we said, the couples that we know that have done really well and been in it long term, they're like us. They have great relationships. They're into each other. And, that's it. I mean, most of the couples we know from the 90s that we met, there's only a couple that are still together. And those are the ones that had really great relationships. The others, who may have been the most enthusiastic and doing the biggest numbers, of people, they're out of it. They're not only out of the lifestyle, they're not married anymore.
So what year do you think that you guys started with the lifestyle? Like you guys have been married or in a relationship for between 44 and 49 years. So you roughly started the lifestyle. What part of that would you say again? Like halfway through?
14, 15 years.
Oh, okay. So kind of, yeah. Okay. All right. Very good. Here's a question that came up quite a bit because I did a little bit of research. So some people might say that the lifestyle isn't Christ-like or that you don't value the sanctity of marriage. How do you weigh in on that? We try to never really talk religion. So, but again, this one came up quite a bit. So
I, at one time, wanted to be a minister. I grew up in a church where I was very involved and went to a college that was associated with a church, a specific faith.
Seminary or something.
And I've always considered myself a Christian. And I think that where people make the mistake with this kind of stuff is that, when the Bible says you shouldn't covet thy neighbor's wife, you shouldn't covet thy neighbor's wife when thy neighbor's husband doesn't know about it.
Correct.
That's a good point.
Love it.
It's the cheating part. It's the doing it behind somebody's back. It's to me, that's the description of being unfaithful. What we are doing, we're not being faithful. We're being faithful to each other. We're being faithful to our vows.
Yeah.
We're doing the things we do it with each other's permission.
Yep.
And I would say the activities we do with other people are, while we're not in love with that person, we're doing it from a place of love. I mean,
I can see that.
You're not going to enjoy, I could be wrong, but this is just my view of it. The experiences that I've had, like I said, I might not have been in love with the other person, but I was being loving with that person when I was doing it and expressing what I consider as love. And it's, I think that's what Christians do. And we've got great friends that are in the lifestyle that, are supportive and more Christian in the way they behave in their normal lives than most people we know. So
yeah,
and there's actually a lot of Christian swinger groups, and there's even ministers from mainstream denominations, pastors that lead lifestyle groups and talk about it. There's a famous porn star that we're a big fan of. Her name is Brandy Love, and her husband also was going to be a minister at one point. And her name's Brandy Love. You should look her up on Twitter and follow her, because people all the time ask her that question.
Wow.
How can you be a porn star when you're out fucking people left and right, you know? And how can your husband watch? And how can your husband let you do that? You guys are satanic, you know, and all this. And she comes back with Bible verses. She knows, her and her husband know the Bible, I think, better than anybody I've ever run into.
Wow.
And she, you know, he apparently met with their pastor over a 2 or 3 day period and presented to him why this was okay and Christ-like. And at the end of the 2 or 3 days that he met with the pastor agreed with him, because he had done so much research, backed it up with so much biblical facts,
wow,
or whatever you want to call them. So, you know, so that's kind of a personal question to me. And I feel strongly that, you know, I don't think, you know, I'm biased, but I don't think anybody could love their wife more than I love mine. And I think that's the Christian thing to do.
Yeah.
And I think wanting her to have pleasure and, you know, experience pleasure, I don't, you know, I don't think that's a sin.
I think that was a great answer to that question.
Thanks for that.
All right. We're kind of wrapping this up. I always try to end every interview with the same question. And I'd like both of you to answer this. What advice would you give somebody that's trying to get into the lifestyle, or they're trying to dip their toes in and they're thinking about it? What advice would you give them?
Well, I would say do your research and look into yourself. Can you do this without hurting your partner? If you're going to go with your partner, there are people that do it as singles, but don't go into it thinking that's a big party, because as much fun as it is, there can be issues that would affect you. We have been so lucky to meet up with great people, but beware of some people. You'll see the red flags.
Okay.
And I would say, you know, you have to know your partner. You have to know that you can trust your partner, and you have to know your partner trusts you. And you have to go into it for the right reasons. It has to be an enhancement to your marriage, not a fix to a problem. And you can't be, you know, I think from the people we've met in this, we've met the guys that weren't happy with their wives and they were looking for another wife. We've met women in the same position. And I almost feel like they talked about it. We're going into the lifestyle so we can find new spouses, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think you really, first and foremost, you got to know you can trust each other. You got to know that you can talk to each other about everything. And you got to know that if you talk to your partner about having sex with somebody else, that their response is going to be joy for you, not jealousy.
And I'd like to add also, as being a hot wife on these sites, I've had guys contact me saying, my wife doesn't like sex anymore, so I want somebody to do this with behind her back. I don't do that. You can't. I would never be a part of anything like that.
No.
You have to be honest. I mean, I appreciate these guys being honest and not just passing themselves off as single guys. But, you know, you have to have integrity too. And I would never do something to break up somebody, a couple or a relationship. You have to be open-minded too. Very open-minded to be in this.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for that, guys.
Yeah. As we're wrapping this, I got to say thank you for doing this.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you
coming
guys.
on.
Thank you.
This has been great. I think a lot of people are going to find this educational.
Yeah,
and,
I know I did.
but before we let you go, we want to give you a chance to plug everything that you guys want to plug, share
Yep.
where they can find you, content, anything you want to.
Yeah. The mic is
There's
all your
only one
guys'.
place
Yep.
we got a place to go where you can find everything you could imagine. And that's hotwifecandy.live, Live. And all her links to all her platforms are there, her social media platforms, and her, as they call in the business, spicy platforms, which would be OnlyFans, Loyal Fans, Playboy, and a site called ManyVids, which is
Okay.
a site where you can buy videos.
What was the first one again? Hot Wife.
Wifecandy.live. Not com,
Yep.
.live, Live.
Hotwifecandy.live.
Yeah, we'll get all this information and we'll add it into our show notes and all that. So Rusty and I and Candy and Justin, we will go ahead and do an email later. And then if you want to just spell everything out, that way we have it in our show notes perfectly. So probably edit that part out. But thank you guys so much. Anything else, babe, that you want to talk about or say?
No, I appreciate this.
Yeah.
Thans for coming on.
You guys
This
are
was
awesome.
great. Yeah, this was phenomenal.
Thank you so much. How's the
you.
weather out there in the palm trees and all that, I guess? I don't know. How's the weather out there?
Wasn't good last week, but we're hoping for better. We saw rain every day last week since we got here. But we saw sun today, and I don't think we saw any rain as we were driving down.
Okay.
And we're getting up early and going to Haulover Beach, which is nude.
Ooh, have fun, guys. Well, get some sleep and enjoy yourselves. Thank you guys so much. We'll be in contact.
You.
And
You had a great-
All right. Well, that was the interview with Rusty and
Wow.
Candy. That was amazing.
holy shit, I had no idea. I am jaw dropping right now. Like, what the heck?
That was
I'm amazed.
phenomenal.
It
I
was
loved
so
it.
good. I loved
think it
it.
was great.
They were awesome. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
That was. I've done a lot of interviews
yeah.
on my other podcast,
The
Stupidest Podcast.
which airs every other Monday.
But they interviewed so well.
They really did. We gave them a lot of questions and we sent them over. We had a lot of questions
We were
from you
firing
guys.
at them from all angles.
And they were just like, they've done it before, but I don't know that they ever had.
They did phenomenal.
It was awesome. I learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and we have lots of information that we're going to put in our show notes for people in case anybody is wanting to start in the lifestyle or OnlyFans. Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys have questions or anything about that, maybe we can get them answered for you. You guys can send us over an email or hit us up on the socials.
Yep.
The email, if you go to our website, confessionswiththecougarandthecub.com, there's a link to contact us. It'll go straight to our email. Shoot us an email or, like I said,
Facebook.
or Facebook.
Yeah, I feel
or,
like we check that more than
yeah.
Instagram, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
So people could always do that. But I mean, I think we must have shot out like 20 questions, but then they were spitting off like stuff that we were like,
They were
oh,
answering questions that we had
Yeah.
before we even.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was great.
And
so you guys are
then-
going to love it.
Also, if you guys, maybe you guys are in a different lifestyle or
Yeah.
something like that, or you guys think you stand out above the crowd or think you'd be a great guest, hit us up there as well.
Yeah. We're open to that.
Yep. Or if there's questions that you guys would like to hear us answer, or maybe you guys have had marital problems and you want us to give you our input. Got tongue tied there.
You just learned to talk. Ooh. Maybe he's a
maybe you
little
wanna hear
flustered
us
from Candy.
Give you some advice from our point of view.
Yes.
I mean, just hit us up with anything.
yeah, for sure.
The other thing I can say is go like, share, and subscribe wherever you're listening. Comment, like, share. Everything you do helps.
You guys are doing great, though. Seriously, I think today we checked and our numbers were like in the 3,000s. So thank you for all the love. We couldn't do what we're doing without you guys, and we want those big names. We have a couple big podcasts that we would love to be a part of. So getting all the shares and likes and subscribers are going to hopefully help to get those people to maybe want to. I don't know, sponsor us and let us be on their show because we feel like we got a lot to offer.
We want to build this up bigger and bigger.
Absolutely.
and better and better and gooder and gooder. But we always end every episode with a pickup line, and we are still going to do that with this one. So I'm going to let you go first, babe.
Oh, thanks. All right. You know what we forgot to say is, remember, okay, I'm literally always the talker. And what did I do that entire interview?
Oh, if you guys could have seen her, I was proud of her. If she gets in a conversation, she'll usually talk over people, or she'll jump in and tell her stories and all that. But she bit her lips so hard. I was waiting to see blood come out of the corners of her mouth. She was biting so hard.
So anyway, I just had to have my cub add that because I was so proud of myself. I was like, oh my God, don't interrupt. But anyway, okay. So with that said, here's my my pickup line: 4 + 4 = 8, but you plus me equals fate. Ow.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks.
I got a good one.
All right. Top that.
Is your name Jimmy? Because I'm falling for you. Fallon for you.
I was thinking, what?
I'm fallon for you.
I think you... Okay. Well, that was like a womp, womp,
I know, that kind
womp.
of sweet. So, is your name Jimmy?
No.
Because I'm Fallon for you.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway. It could be a dad joke, too.
I think it is, kind of. I thought it was great.
I love it.
Phenomenal.
All right. Well,
It made me laugh.
Yeah,
but
sure.
All
right.
was a very...
I don't know if maybe made our people out there in La La Land laugh. It was funny.
So, all right, guys. Awesome. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode because we loved doing it for you.
Yeah. It was fun.
Yep.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Yep.
Peace out, Scout.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.